So today we're diving into something that sounds almost too good to be true. Free anti-detect browsers. I mean, who doesn't love free? They promise you complete online anonymity, no strings attached, no big price tag. But you know how it goes. What's the real cost when you're not paying anything? Let's dig in and find out.
Have you ever just wished you could be invisible online? Yeah, I think we all have. You know, that feeling of wanting to browse without someone looking over your shoulder, or maybe manage a few different online accounts without them all being tied back to you. It's really about getting a little bit of control back, right? And that's the big promise that pulls people in. But before we get to the solution, we've got to understand the problem.
And that problem, the thing we're all up against, is your digital fingerprint. It's this unique trail you're leaving all over the internet, and most of the time, you probably don't even know it's happening.
And no, we're not just talking about cookies. This is way, way more advanced. Think about it. Your digital fingerprint is made up of all these little unique things about your computer. Stuff like the fonts you've installed, your exact screen size, the plugins you're using, all of it. Websites gobble up this data to build this scarily accurate profile of you, and then they can use it to track you from site to site.
Okay, so that's where anti-detect browsers come into play. Their whole job is to act like a digital disguise. They change or fake all those little details. So the big idea is, every time you start a new session, you look like a brand new person to the websites you visit. You have a totally different digital fingerprint, and that breaks the tracking chain.
Now, this kind of tech is super powerful, but the professional-grade tools, they can get really expensive. And that leads us right to the magic word, the one that's almost impossible to resist: free. I mean, why would you pay for something if you can get it for free, right?
And it makes total sense why people go looking for them. If you're a freelancer or running a small business, dodging a monthly bill that could be $50, $100, even $300, that's a huge win. Or maybe you just want to try the tech out before you drop any cash, and then of course, you've got the main reasons: juggling multiple online stores, managing different social media profiles, or just trying to get a little more privacy and bypass those annoying location restrictions. The need is absolutely there.
So what are your options when you go looking for a free tool? Well, there are a few big names that always pop up. Let's take a quick look at what they're putting on the table.
All right, so here's a quick rundown. You've got AdsPower, which offers a forever free plan, but, and it's a big but, you only get 2 profiles. Dolphin Anti seems a bit better with 10 free profiles, but the catch is the fingerprint quality can be pretty hit or miss. Then you have Go Login and Multi-Login, but these aren't really free in the long run. They're just limited trials. And once that multi-login trial is over, watch out, because the price jumps way up.
So, a few free profiles here, a free trial there. It sounds like a pretty good deal to get started, doesn't it? But this is exactly where things get tricky. This is where we uncover the real, complicated truth about free.
Because free always has a price. And trust me, it's not always about money. The hidden costs, the risks, the limitations, they can end up being way more expensive than any subscription fee. We can really break these hidden costs down into 5 big problems. These are the things that really get to the core of why free isn't always what it seems. Let's go through them one by one.
First up, those profile limits. We just talked about them. I mean, 2 to 10 profiles? Sure, that's fine if you're just playing around. But if you're actually trying to run a business, managing multiple stores, running marketing campaigns, that's just not enough. You're going to hit a brick wall, like instantly.
Number 2, and this one is a huge deal: weak fingerprint protection. The whole point of using one of these browsers is to stay hidden, right? But here's the thing. Platforms like Facebook, Amazon, Google, they've gotten really, really smart. They can spot a cheap fake fingerprint a mile away. And honestly, a bad disguise can be even worse than no disguise at all. It's a surefire way to get your accounts banned.
So imagine that happens. You get that awful email your account has been suspended. What's your first move? You try to get help, right? Well, with these free tools, guess how much help you're going to get? Absolutely zero. Nada. You are totally, completely on your own right when you need help the most.
On top of all that, think about what's missing. Free plans almost never include the features that serious users actually depend on. We're talking about things like automation to save you time, tools so your team can work together, API access to connect with your other software, even mobile fingerprints. And that last one is critical because, let's face it, so much of what we do is on mobile now.
And that brings us to what is, honestly, the scariest risk of all: your security. The tool that you downloaded specifically to protect your privacy could be doing the exact opposite. I mean, think about it. Some of these free tools could be logging everything you do, injecting their own trackers, or worse, selling your browsing data to the highest bidder. It completely defeats the whole purpose.
Okay, so after hearing all of that, what's the takeaway?
Are your only options a super risky free tool on one hand and a crazy expensive one on the other? Well, maybe not. There might actually be a middle ground that's worth looking at.
When you lay it all out, the difference is pretty stark. With the free browsers, you're often getting low-quality fingerprints, almost no room to scale up, zero support, and honestly, questionable safety. Paid solutions, on the other hand, are built to give you high-quality protection, the ability to grow, real support, and security you can count on.
So to bridge that gap between free but risky and safe but expensive, some companies are trying to find a balance. The source we're looking at today actually points to an example called Sendwin, just to show what that kind of middle ground solution might offer.
And what makes it different is the technology. Instead of just putting a mask on your existing browser fingerprint, it uses something called browser isolation. Basically, it creates a totally fresh, clean, virtual browser every single time you start a session. The idea is that this, plus things like unlimited profiles and professional-level fingerprints, gives you a much stronger, safer solution, but at a price that doesn't break the bank.
So that brings us right back to where we started. When does free become too expensive? Well, it happens the second your most important account gets banned. It happens when you find out your data has been sold. And it happens when your business can't grow because your free tool is holding you back. The real lesson here is to look beyond that $0 price tag and think about the true cost. The cost in risk, in wasted time, and in opportunities you might miss.